Hi, I'd like to introduce to you Eric Sutkay from Lakeview Technology Academy, which is part of Kenosha Unified School District. Eric, thanks so much for doing this today. I really appreciate you getting the word out to our experience-based licensed teachers that are in the boot camps for UW-Stout. I was wondering if you could take just a little bit of time to tell us your journey on how you got into the role that you are at today.
Sure. So I'm a manufacturing and technology engineering teacher here at Lakeview. This is my 15th year at Lakeview. Also the youth apprenticeship specialist here. I started, so how I got into teaching is I really enjoyed taking the technology education classes in high school. And so I decided to pursue that in college. I went to UW-Platteville for 4 years and started at Lakeview. Lakeview was my first job and now my only job so far, but taken on a lot of different roles here and taught a lot of different classes. Some of the project lead the way classes, civil engineering and architecture, engineering design development. I teach some of our freshman machining classes, as well as some of our sophomore classes, machining classes, construction classes. I'm trying to think if there's any more. Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I think it was about 5 years ago I started in the youth apprenticeship specialist role at the school and working with our juniors and seniors through the youth apprenticeship program. And I do that kind of semi part-time. So I'm still in the classroom during the first semester. I'm in the classroom half of my day. And then in the second semester, I'm in the classroom 3/4 of the day. So I have some time each semester to work with our youth apprenticeship employers and students.
That's great. Have you had any experience working inside businesses?
I have. So I do construction on the side, usually just through word of mouth, and it spreads. And then I've tried to help out too in different industries too, to sometimes get experience, in something that I might be teaching.
I think the other thing is I'd like them to know that you take classes at Gateway Technical College as well. So not only, you've gone through the regular pedagogy of becoming a teacher, you've worked part-time in the construction industry, but you're also taking some Gateway courses. Why do you do that?
Well, so I got my master's in education through National Lewis, and then I decided that if I was going to further my education, I wanted it to be in the areas that I was working in. And I figured, well, the closest thing to manufacturing and machining and industry is working with the local technical college, because they're really putting out the students for the industry. So about 5 years ago, I started taking classes at the technical college. I try to take 1 or 2 a semester, and then 1 or 2 over the summer, and really branch out and kind of see what else is out there in manufacturing. I just teach the machining side of things, but there's a lot of stuff out there. I've taken welding classes, robotics classes. I'm currently in PLCs and HMIs, so programmable logic controllers. Also taking a SolidWorks class right now. So, and I took the SolidWorks class because I haven't taken a SolidWorks class in 15 years since college. And a lot of our youth apprenticeship partnerships or partner employers, they expect the students to have some SolidWorks skills. So I wanted to refresh my memory on what SolidWorks was like, and so I knew what the students were getting themselves into.
I just think it's great for everyone to hear all those wonderful things that you're doing, because sometimes, people get into teaching and they think that's it, and you really have been that professional that has gone above and beyond with going back to school and taking those classes is, to make sure what's currently going on with the technical college. So Lakeview is a little bit different school. And I would like you to explain, what does that school look like within Kenosha Unified School District?
Sure. So Lakeview has about approximately 400 students. We're a 912 choice school, so that students choose to come here. We have 4 different pathways. We have an automated manufacturing, a pre-engineering pathway, biomedical sciences, and an IT pathway. We're partnered with Gateway Technical College. So we actually have, I believe it's 4 full-time Gateway instructors that teach at the school during the day to mostly our juniors and seniors in the elective classes. So a student in advanced manufacturing is going to be taking their elective classes with a Gateway instructor. Those same Gateway instructors, once the high school day ends, those same Gateway instructors are teaching the adult education classes as well here. So our campus turns from a high school campus at 2:40 to at 3:30, it turns into a Gateway Technical College campus. So the students are learning on the same curriculum and on the same equipment as our adults are.
I think it's just a very unique school. It's very hard to get into. There's a ton of kids who want to choose to go to this school. So they're earning a lot of Gateway credits. Many of them don't have to do much more after high school to get their associate's degree. So it really is a win-win for a student. Parents definitely see the value of this, and it has been just a great asset to the Kenosha Unified School District. So thanks for telling us about it. All right, so I wanted to ask one of my YA experts that I had worked with, what does it look like, youth apprenticeship at your school?
Sure. So because we're such a unique school and we have a lot of students in engineering, I get a lot of students who want to take their AP classes and their calculus and all of those college classes that they want to get out of the way before they go to college or get some experience in those classes. So for me, with an engineering student interested in youth apprenticeship, it's sometimes a little bit difficult or tricky to get them involved in a youth apprenticeship program, especially if they're trying to go to school instead of taking a release to go and work at a youth apprenticeship. And especially with our engineering employers, a lot of our engineering employers are the 8-to-5s or 9-to-5s, and it's difficult for a student who is taking classes up until 2:45 to go and work with an employer who leaves at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So that sometimes can be challenging, but it's not that we do not have positions for those students. And there's students who see the value in the youth apprenticeship program, and they'll take that release and they'll start working at 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 o'clock. And we do have some of the unique employers where students might work in the engineering department from 3 to 5, and then they work in the manufacturing area from say 5 to 7 or 5 to 8. So depending on the employer and the student and what their schedule is. We also have students who will work early in the morning. So in our engineering students, sometimes they will take advantage of that, where they're working from 6 to say 10. I have a student right now who works until 10:30 and then comes in for the second half of their school day in the classroom. So it can be unique per student. Because of that, I think our numbers are a little bit lower than where I would want them to be. I usually average about 15 students in the youth apprenticeship program a year. I start off the year usually with around 8, and then usually the other 6 to 7 come in as the year starts to progress, and they see their friends doing it and what they're learning and the experiences that they're having. And then they approach me about, hey, I was able to adjust my schedule so that I can make something work. So that's kind of what that looks like. It is challenging to find engineering youth apprenticeships. Those employers are usually looking for summer college interns. So for them to look to a high school student is sometimes, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's sometimes challenging to find those open positions or the opportunities for a high school student in engineering. But I encourage my engineering students to do manufacturing youth apprenticeships too. They have to understand how a part's made. They have to understand the different manufacturing processes. So whether it's injection molding or machining, it really getting any of that experience is good for them. And I think the students who are truly passionate about it really understand that. They understand that, hey, I might have to do a manufacturing youth apprenticeship this year so I can open the door to maybe an engineering youth apprenticeship next year.
I also think, that some of the employers just don't know the skill level of what our students from that program really knew, and are kind of timid, to say, can I take one of those students on? So that is also a challenge when it comes to, talking to employers and that to really prove what's happening at that school.
Yeah, and I had an employer just this. Is it back on there?
Yep, we got it on.
Okay.
Sorry.
That student's going to interrupt me to get their phone anyways here in a minute. But I had a young lady who just started with an employer last month, and they were using AutoCAD. And the young lady who started there, she's not familiar with AutoCAD, but is familiar with Fusion. And the employer said, well, I think that as long as she can read the drawings and put them in Fusion, she should be able to, it should be able to work for us. So they were able to kind of adapt and see that, hey, this student had the skill set in another software program. The student was able to use that program rather than the AutoCAD program that they wanted to use. And they were open to it, and it's working out great. So they're actually hiring her on for more hours, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is wonderful. I know your time's limited. You've got a student coming in because you confiscated a phone. So we all know that. I wanted to talk about, pre-COVID, I saw some great things happening in your classroom, and you had a really neat manufacturing project that we're talking about in this experience-based license class on school-based enterprises, and it fits exactly with what we're talking about. So if you could just mention a little bit about what you do with that.
Yeah, so in the past, what we've done is kind of taken our second level machining class, my sophomores, and for the second semester, they will step away for a second here.
This is when we have teacher duties.
I didn't, but your snap's been going off. I'm sorry. Yeah, no more phones. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Same with the other stuff too. Right? I'm sorry. Thank you. Let's keep it good for the rest of the semester. Thanks.
Eric, what we could have done is had you part of the classroom management class to talk.
There was some trembling going on when the saris came out, so I think there was a lasting impression there. We'll find out on Monday. So the manufacturing project, yes. So with our sophomore machining students, I would break them into small groups or one big group as a class, and they would choose a product that they were going to manufacture. And they would go through the whole process of designing it and breaking down the responsibilities within the group. We'd usually take some of our manufacturing students who might not be the best machinists, and they would admit that, and they would choose to market our product. We took some students, and we would have students come up with the packaging, how we would talk about like packaging engineering, how would you see this product if we were going to sell it at the store. So we would talk a lot about, how is a product how is a product marketed? Is it in the box? Is there a picture of it on the box and you see it? Or is it in one of those clear plastic coverings there that has the cardboard on the back so you can actually see the product? Is there a spot where I can test it or try me button on it? So it gets really kind of cool with an open-ended project like that, and so many students with different skill sets and different interests. They can see how things are, how manufacturing doesn't just have to be machining, or coming up with a product doesn't have to be just the machining side. Even though that's what my class focused on primarily, we found different areas that they were interested in.
I just think it's a great idea for teachers to do, because it's not traditional. You're not going to usually do that in an English classroom or a math classroom. This is where kids really get to test some other areas within the business world. And I just think it's a great idea for people to do that. So
yeah, and if your district allows, and I know there's a lot of them out there that do, to get the students to buy in, I've always wanted to have them kind of invest in the product that they're making, because what better way for them to see how, hey, I have to sell this product, I have to market it, we really have to make it we have to make a good product that somebody's going to want to buy, and then they can take their time and figure out how much is my time actually worth. We spent an entire semester on this, so 2,000 hours or whatever it is, how much are we going to have to sell this product for you to get your $15 an hour? So it really, if your district allows and you to sell an item, I always did it where the idea was that they were going to sell it at the end, but I think it takes away from the class if the student doesn't have anything to take home when they're done. So if they work so hard to design this product and then they sell all the product and they don't have anything to take home from the class when they're done, is it really, yes, a lot of them enjoy the cash benefits of selling a product, but then I think, they're a little bit saddened that I don't have something to take away from this. So I always did it that way. You could definitely do it where I know there's other districts who sell it. I know that there's districts who work with, some of their manufacturers or local area businesses, and they'll take in jobs when that employer might not be able to take on a job. I've talked to districts who have, their CNC shop, their local CNC shop will get a run of 50 parts and they just can't run it. And, some of the students in the manufacturing class will take on that work and provide, the goods for that company. So, or the product. So.
And I think it's great for you to learn about this stuff. Now, I'm just going to do one last thing. I didn't even mention this, but I'm going to have you do a shameless plug for the WTEA and why teachers should do professional, development for them, and a little bit about the conference.
Yeah, so the Wisconsin Technology Education Association, I sit on the board of directors. So it's teachers, past teachers, future teachers who are interested in technology education or in the classroom are members of our association. We have a conference annual conference every year in March. This year it happens to be March 16th, 17th, and 18th if you want to go over St. Patty's Day. I'm excited about that. But excuse me, there's a trade show with all the vendors. So it's a great opportunity to network with some of the vendors to see what the new products are that are coming out, to talk about, what it looks like in a classroom. How do I get a CNC machine in my classroom? What does that look like? How do I build a robot cell or something along those lines? You can talk to the vendors right there. And then the breakout sessions. So all day on Thursday and half of the day on Friday, there's breakout sessions where you're listening to or sitting in on some of the listening to people that are in the field teaching, teachers, professors, all people from all over the state, talking about their projects, talking about what they're doing in their classroom, trading curriculum. It's just a great opportunity to network with people from around the state and see what it's like in different areas. I always get a kick out of it. The people in northern Wisconsin up by Marinette there's a lot of boat building up there. So they have, if you want to learn about boat building, you go up there. But it's a great group, a great organization. There's anywhere from 200 to, I think we had 350 at the 2019 conference, and just to network and talk with those individuals. It's a great opportunity.
I've been able to attend, and I will tell you those breakout sessions are amazing, and we brought stuff back to the districts because of that. So
Absolutely.
I do think it's a great thing for people to do. And it's not just, in tech ed, there's other areas that have the same type of conferences. So thanks for talking about that, because I know that's where we learned a lot about Cardinal manufacturing, if I'm correct, right?
Yep.
Okay. And that was the one I think I've seen them even present nationally, which is great. Now with that, Eric had said it'd be great if they could sell it. We could do certain things with it. You need to check with your district, because that put the stop on it for us to sell things. So depending on your CFO, whoever your finance person is, make sure if you're going to be doing something like that, you do have to ask for permission, because it can cause some problems if your school district follows the guidelines, I'm going to say. So
the gray areas.
That was not a gray area for Kenosha. That was a black and white area for them. We tried to do it, and it just didn't work. So,
and who knows, I might still push for it.
Well, that's it. And I think, as it becomes, and we said, look at other school districts are doing it. I think there needs to be a conversation to have that happen for our kids to really get those hands-on projects and to see those enterprises happening within their district, so they feel confident enough. We talk about, what's happening with the world of work and how it has really changed. And it's a lot of kids who want to start their own businesses now. They want to be the boss. And by giving them these experiences while they're in high school, they get to see that. And, Eric, I really liked when you said, maybe this kid wasn't the best machining kid, but maybe he was the best marketer or could design the package. That plays such an important role that kid might now have gotten into another path. So I think those are great.
I have a kid, I ran into a student at the manufacturing technology show down in Chicago a few years ago. And he was really into electronics and electrical engineering when he was in high school, took all the electronics courses, hated my machining classes, still took them, but hated them. And I ran into him and I said, what are you doing at the manufacturing show? You were all about electrical engineering and stuff like that. He goes, oh no, my dad and I opened up a CNC shop just by the Milwaukee airport. It said they make parts for guns. And he's been doing it for 5 years now. And it's him and his dad. They have 15 machines or something like that. And they run 24/7. He's like, it's the greatest thing. I write these programs. He's like, I'm there from 8 to 5. We shut the lights off. The machines run all night long. We make tons of money. I'm like, you can share. Remember,
That's right.
I taught you the machining. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't go with that electrical stuff. That was horrible. I went to school. I started going to school for that. It was terrible." So
So we never know, like when these kids, we've got them in the classes, and those experiences, even though he hated it, he ended up in it, and it's lucky you can run into them, because so many times we never hear those stories.
and part of that's why I like the youth apprenticeship program, to kind of tie it all back in there is
Exactly.
let's get those students out in those work-based learning experiences and, try it out, see what it is. You never know what you're going to like. I think of students who are set on, I want to be a civil engineer. And as soon as they got out there and got that experience, it was like, wait a minute, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I like the mechanical side of things. I don't like the civil side of things. I want to stick with mechanical. Or I really like the hands-on aspect of the maintenance that I was doing at my youth apprenticeship. I want to go with that rather than the designing. So getting those work-based experiences is huge, and especially in high school.
Yeah, it's that practical application that many times kids don't ever get to do, and they think they're going to want to do it. I'll go back to when my sister was in high school. She loved math. I'm going to be a math teacher. I want to be a math teacher. Oh my gosh. And one of the first things that when she went to college is they put her into tutor at Stephen Point area senior high school, the SPASH they call it. She's like, "Oh, I hate those stupid kids." I'm like, "Well, you really shouldn't be a teacher." So she ended up not going that route. So I do agree, that many times those kids don't hit any of those practical applications in their college, life until really late. So the earlier we can do that, the better. All right.
And expose them through field trips too. That's been a big and early.
Mhm.
So I'll take my freshmen and sophomores out. I tried to do before 2020, we were doing 6 or 7 field trips a semester where kids were getting out there and seeing different areas of manufacturing, and not just manufacturing. We went to Gold Standard Bakery. I don't remember, Cheryl, if you were on that trip or not, but they were pumping out croissants left and right for Quick Trip and Starbucks, and the kids loved that, mostly because they gave them 20 boxes of croissants when we were done with our field trip. But they got to see, you got to see, how is a croissant manufactured? You don't really think about that, and it's 2 blocks from our school. So
yeah, where you're located is so unique, and it truly is a blessing being built within very short distance of a lot of different industrial parks, and that's a key, I think. In schools, think about rebuilding, and if you have a specialty school choice of like what we do have at Lakeview, it is the best location.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Keep it that way.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, we took a lot of time. I appreciate it so very much. And I know the students will learn a lot from your video.
Thank you. That's good.
Thanks, and have a great day.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.